Have you ever wondered how organizations decide who can access what and why you might be able to open one folder at work but not another? That all comes down to access control models, the rules that govern what users can see, do, or modify in a system. In this video, we're going to break down 4 of the most important models in cybersecurity: discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based access control, and attribute access control, and look at how each one works with real-world examples. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about discretionary access control, or DAC. DAC gives control to the resource owner. That means whoever creates the file, folder, or resource gets to decide who can access it and what they can do. It's very common in personal computers and small business environments. For instance, imagine you created a spreadsheet on your work laptop and you decide to give your coworker read access but prevent them from making changes. That's discretionary access control in action. You, as the resource owner, control access. On a technical level, DAC often relies on access control lists, or ACLs, where each file or object has a list of users and their allowed actions: read, write, execute, etc. Now there's a few upsides to this. First, it's simple to understand. It's also flexible for the end user. However, it's prone to misconfiguration and it's harder to enforce strict security policies across an entire organization. Mandatory Access Control, or MAC, flips the script. Here, the system, not the user, defines who can access what based on security labels and classifications. This model is especially common in military, government, or high security environments where confidentiality is critical. Let's say there's a document marked top secret. Even if a user has access to the system, they won't be able to view that document unless they've been cleared at the top secret level. And the system enforces that rule automatically. MAC uses predefined labels like confidential, secret, or public, and users are assigned clearances. If the user's clearance doesn't meet the required level, access is denied, no exceptions. The pros of using mandatory access control is that it's very secure, it's enforced centrally by the system, and reduces potential for insider threats. However, it's rigid and harder to manage in complex environments, and it is not user-friendly. Next, let's talk about RBAC, or role-based access control, and it's one of the most widely used models in enterprise environments. Access decisions are based on a user's role within the organization, not their identity and not their clearance level. For example, an HR employee gets access to personnel files because of their role in HR. A system admin might get access to server configurations, and if someone switches departments, they lose their old permissions, but they gain new ones based on their new role. RBAC makes it easier to manage permissions at scale. Instead of granting access to each individual, you assign access to their roles, and then you assign the users to those roles. Some of the nice things about RBAC is that it's scalable and easy to manage, it reduces privilege creep, and it fits well with identity and access management systems. Unfortunately, roles need to be clearly defined, and overlapping responsibilities can cause confusion if you don't manage them properly. Finally, let's talk about ABAC, or attribute-based access control. It's the most dynamic and flexible of the 4 access control models we've talked about. It grants access based on a combination of attributes, such as the user's role, department, location, time of day, device used, and so much more. Let's imagine a contractor's working remotely and they might only be allowed access to a document during business hours from a company-issued laptop, and only if they're connected to the VPN. ABAC uses policies like, if the user's department is finance and they're located in the corporate office, then grant access to financial records. This allows for granular control based on context. Now, ABAC is very flexible and context aware. It also supports modern zero trust architectures and is great for cloud environments. Unfortunately, it's more complex to set up and maintain and requires a strong policy engine and identity system. So to recap, discretionary access control gives control to the user. Mandatory access control enforces strict rules based on labels. Role-based access control assigns access based on job roles. And attribute-based access control takes it even further by using attributes and context to make access decisions. Now, each model has its own place, and many organizations use a combination depending on their needs and environment. And understanding how these access control models work is essential for securing data, reducing risk, and ensuring the right people have the right level of access. No more, no less. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or check out one of the other videos on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.